#1 seed of the tournament, going against the #6 seed, basically. And this is exactly what you would ask for. I mean, Viper has had himself a tournament. He's played so well. VIITOR as well, just very consistent. Just a beautiful knowledge of how the meta was evolving throughout the tournament. And it felt like when he lost his set, it felt like he didn't adapt quickly enough. And then as soon as he started winning, it was obvious that he was just ready for whatever was going to go against him.
And Furnace will meet the machine, this time with running the Fish Boy. VIITOR looking a little more like Royal Giant here.
So VIITOR, he has answers, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. The Vine's going to put in work, and it's going to get the shot before he gets stunned. The mini P.E.K.K.A is also taking that out. So left tower down to 1265, right tower down to 2224, and a perfect start if you're Viper.
And
Man, this Goblin Giant deck is so good.
Yeah, you know, giving me flashbacks to 2023, the Goblin Giant meta of World Finals. So I don't know, maybe the Goblin Giant can trip on his way to Atlanta. That might be helpful.
I really wouldn't mind.
I know you wouldn't, Josh. Ewiz sets up in the back, and you know, you talk about what the state of our meta right now. There are so many cards that kind of have had fallen to the wayside, and just because of the way the meta has shifted, you know, we've seen a lot of Electro Wiz today, whereas Ewiz was kind of dead and competitive for a long time.
Yeah, and at this point, it just seems like kind of necessary to use it in one of your best of 5 sets. Right there, Evo Witch on top of the tower, getting it all the way down to 659. And honestly, looking at the matchup, I feel like I saw this yesterday, and people were talking about this exact matchup, and it was like, okay, well, the Ewiz does so well against the Goblin Machine because it can reset the targets, it slows down the Goblin Giant, and I think that must have been before some sort of balance change, because it looks like Viper's matchup the entire way.
So now we'll get a Monk in front of everything. Let's see if we get a reflection here. But it does not reflect the Evo Witch, so Furnace has to come out. This is a lot at the bridge, though. And it will end up being almost for nothing. First Royal Giant down for VIITOR as we are deep into our sudden death period.
Yeah, perfect timing right there. And honestly, a good fisherman from VIITOR to snipe the mini P.E.K.K.A instead of the Goblin Machine. Just wasn't enough. Fire Spirit not going to be able to do enough. And right there, recognizes his opponent, puts the Monk all the way in the back, believes that he can get to the tower because of it, and he will. That's going to be one shot and a second. And he is close to taking out this tower.
This is the most important push for VIITOR in Game 1. Evo RG getting on tower, doing lots of damage here. Vines do slow it down. Can he stymie one more effort from Viper? He's been able to turn these pushes into, these defenses into big counter pushes. Needs to do it one more big time. Monk reflecting. Mini P.E.K.K.A not pulled. Machine is pulled away. Ewiz trying to get some stuns in. Log plus RG 741.
I believe he missed the Vines. I'm not sure if he played them down in time. Finally deciding to go. Oh my goodness, the minion getting the one hit right there. That changes everything.
VIITOR was doing such a good job of making this competitive in the finals.
Make one mistake, whether it's early, middle of the game, late game, you're just not going to be able to stop it.
It was Prince Furnace swapped out for the mini P.E.K.K.A Evo Witch. So that was the big change made there. So now Hog for Viper.
And perfect timing right there to activate the Monk's ability. Takes the minions out and slows down the Golden Knight.
And I'm double checking this, but I think this is Viper's first time playing Hog Rider on the weekend.
Yeah. I don't want to just say you're wrong, but I feel like you should be, you know?
Yeah, but I'm scrolling through all the matchups today, over the weekend, and no Hog Rider played.
Wow. Maybe he didn't understand the dual format and thought you could only use it once per weekend.
Once a weekend? Sure.
Still unsure of what VIPER's last couple cards are. We've seen Inferno Dragon have kind of limited success this weekend, and it's usually paired with the P.E.K.K.A. or the MK, and MK going to be the deck of choice for VIPER 75.
Yeah, haven't seen bridge spam from VIPER yet this weekend. Working out pretty well here as the Ghost and the minions get all over that tower. Wow. Absolutely feasting. And you see Viper, a little tilt to the head there, did not like the connection.
Yeah, not exactly sure what he should have done in that moment. He probably just had to be quicker with a couple of his cards, but way too much damage given up to that Ghost. But, I mean, when you look at Viper's deck and VIPER's deck, if Viper doesn't have the Monk in cycle, the Ghost wreaks havoc. So it's not shocking that that's the reason why VIPER took this lead.
And that Evo Inferno Dragon gets some good work done in before, despite both the Tesla, now the Ram Rider here to slow the Hog. And the minions do enough, but not quite as the Hog gets one shot. Viper really cycling these Hogs fast.
Yeah, if he gets a second shot, the game would be a complete 50-50. Not going to be the case, and he will have the Mega Knight get plopped down on the map. So he finally has something going. And we expect to see multiple Lightnings get cycled, but Viper still has an opportunity to come back right here.
And he's doing a good job of pressuring and not giving a comfortable opportunity to use that 6 elixir, right? Look at how he's playing everything way up high, out of tower range. Good Monk reflection here. And that Evo Inferno Dragon staying out of the danger zone. No Mega Knight here for the Hog Rider. Hog's going to get at least one. The zap holds, but the Hog Rider does get one critical hit. And now the lead for Viper. Wallace trying to connect. Will the Ram Rider get there? Electro Spirit and does not quite stop. Lightning will do it. And you saw VIPER just with his heart deck pick here that preserves some late game options for VIPER, as now we are guaranteed at least one championship game.
Yeah, you really have to be feeling good if you're VIPER. As good as Viper has been playing, VIPER pretty much in the same vein. Like he's been playing so well, and he just has so many open options. This is incredible after the first two. It feels like you don't even want to use probably like 10 to 11 cards. Like 10 to 11 cards aren't really fun to use in these kind of dual formats.
Wallbreaker will connect through all of that.
Yeah, poor placement right there by the Ghost. Had to be a tile over, either left or right. Would have been able to swing at both, but instead, one does connect.
And one of the things to keep an eye out here is that at least so far, it seems like Viper does not have any really great responses. He has the snowball, which, you know, he wants to use to open up lanes. But he also has two different, but the wall breakers and the goblin barrel. No log, no barb barrel. So keep an eye on that as time goes on. Here comes the Evo barrel.
Okay. Solid executioner placed behind the King Tower. Gets the goblins out of commission. Just trying to figure out what the last two cards are, because you you want to assume P.E.K.K.A. or Mega Knight plus Big Spell, but it doesn't really make sense. You kind of need that secondary air targeting troop. So still just kind of waiting, sitting around, trying to figure it out.
And another wall breaker has to get eaten by Viper, so maybe he's feeling like he can create a big push. And wow, first time seeing the boss today.
Yeah, this definitely makes a little bit more sense right there. Good timing on the giant snowball. And a clean defense, but now again, you do have to worry about that, and that was almost one of the best Boss Bandit activations I have ever seen, but instead doesn't make it to the wall breaker.
And this Viper is forced to eat these Goblin Barrels. Vines will be enough when you add in the DPS and the Ice Spirit.
Yeah, I just don't even know if he's going to be able to even defend this one. Gets the left tower down to 1138, right tower 1369. It's Boss Bandit struggling.
This time, Boss Bandit getting a few pieces taken care of. Evo exit to the left-hand side. Goblin Barrel to the right-hand side. You got to have Snowball here. You don't have it. Ghost plus the Berserker to clean up both of Viper's towers in difficult straits. It does just take one big bridge spam push to make the difference. That Evo Exi will shorten the path a little bit.
And right there, both wall breakers connecting, getting the left tower down to 747, right tower down to 618. And VIPER just dominating this entire game. It's looked like Viper has never had a chance to even pull out a victory.
When you see he had to eat that damage, he has to save the elixir and figure out how to overwhelm. He just can't, he has not found the math yet. That was a great Boss Bandit. Exi clearing. Vines, though, shutting things down. And VIPER now going to Evo Barrel. I don't know if there's any way to stop this.
Okay, staying alive. I was going to say the exact same thing. You just got to it first. So cannot believe that he is still in this game. 44 seconds left. Trying to go in with the lightning. It's just not going to work. He had one last opportunity. If he had been able to get 2 shots off with that Exi, and if it was targeting the tower, but because it's not, it's what tower do you want if you're VIPER, and he takes the left one.
Match point in favor.
If he's only at 5 or if he's at 6.
Muhammad's at 5 because he made it to all 5 World Finals in the CRL. No, he's only at 21, 22, 23, 24. Mo's only at 4. Oh no, 5 now. He will be joining. He's joining the 5-time club with this World Finals appearance.
Yeah, just to give a little bit of context on how rarefied that air is. Finally, Mo is there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know Morton is part of that. Lucas might be close.
Yeah, it's just a very short list.
Yeah, Lucas is joining the 5-time club as he made it in 2020, 21, 22, and 24. So Lucas is joining the 5-time club.
Oh!
Oh, no.
Archer Queen plus guards. Missed Fireball could spell doom, disaster, L, loss, however you want to call it. Skeleton King gets down, but not before the Archer Queen locks onto the tower. The Zappy will finally retarget the Archer Queen, but he's taken 1,500 damage, and he's just down Elixir as well. The cannon should be able to clean up everything incredibly easily. And it is now even Elixir, but not even tower damage.
And I really love how VIPER is both giving himself a chance to win here, but also kind of taking some, we talk about preserving for game number 5. Playing Bats, playing Dark Prince, two cards I don't think we've seen at all today. Archer Queen, which we've seen today, but definitely like on the champions list, a little bit less used.
Yeah, definitely expecting a potential Royal Hogs deck, but Lightning out of cycle, probably not super likely. So definitely interesting to use the Dark Prince. Maybe he was trying to predict Drill as well.
Well, definitely covering lots of bases. But either way, even if the call ended up incorrect, still in a good position here.
Bat's going to try and put in a lot of work. AQ going to be able to defend this pretty well, but RG still going to get a couple shots. Gets the tower down to 21-14, and still an opportunity, but it's definitely looking like VIPER should have this locked up as long as he plays to the best of his abilities.
Barbarell to get the skeletons off. Miner goes to the outside spot. Fishboy does still pull. 10:47. Viper sets up. And the fireball, not enough, just barely. Archer Queen stays alive. Wizard does connect. That could be critical. 18:33. Keep an eye on those numbers.
Yeah, and as hot as the start was for VIPER, he is struggling to get damage. It just feels like every single time he goes on offense, he's kind of throwing 5 elixir away for 150 damage. And that's never what you want to be doing. You want to be getting 300 to 400 if you're running one of these minor poison decks, and it's just not happening for him. So definitely has to worry as this game heads into triple elixir.
Evo RG sets it to the left, final minute. Splitting the zappies. Fisherman is in range. Down to 851. About 1,000 HP separating these two. Evo Wizard does not target the cannon. VIITOR has a lot to worry about. Dark Prince to work on the Skeleton King.
Wow, and there is a real opportunity for him to win this game. It was
my.
such a terrible
Oh
start.
my.
He gets a second shot.
Viper, 2 big ones. Miner to the back. VIITOR knows this is probably over. You see him slam the table. He is so frustrated.
Okay,
now
still
getting
has to
miners
worry
in.
about the Dark Prince.
The Dark Prince goes the wrong way. The Dark Prince goes the wrong way. Poison in. Is there another miner? Arrows. Poison trying to tick. Not going to do it. Game 5 on its way. Oh my word. And let's see. Lightning, Earthquake, and Fireball arrows all gone for Viper. So we're thinking either Rocket or Poison if he goes big spells here. Other side of things, Fireball, Lightning, Poison gone. So VIITOR does have EQ open, does have Rocket open. Might go small spells only. And
so
Viper, cycles.
Yeah, Viper definitely in game number 4 created his deck knowing that his opponent could be running Goblin Giant, Goblin Machine. I believe game 5 is going to be somewhat similar where he's going to make sure that his deck can counter that. And VIITOR just no Gob Giant, Goblin Machine spam, instead going in with the Skeleton King Witch spam.
So drill for VIITOR. Try to take advantage of the Valk being out. Will get some damage here. And
wow.
Kind of a classic minor wall breakers here for Viper. Bit of a throwback style-wise.
Yeah, really creative defense from Viper right there, using the wall breakers, not allowing the Goblins to get any shots whatsoever on top of the tower. And then because he used the miner on top of the bomber, it protected the wall breaker in order to force out the arrows. Just something that this game has potentially never seen the way that push was set up. It was just a very creative line from him.
VIITOR not liking the timing there as the Valk cycled in the back was pretty much exactly the right timing there. Maybe switching lanes for VIITOR to try to get away from those Valks. We'll see. An Inferno Tower for Viper.
Inferno Tower plus Evo Valk going to be able to defend everything pretty properly. Viper has no offensive spell, no offensive small spell, but he does still have the poison, and he's going to get aggressive with these wall breakers at the bridge.
And good read there from VIITOR. Arrows high, the Skelly King in the back. But it definitely feels like he's feeling the stress of this matchup.
Yeah, wouldn't be shocked if we saw another miner placed at the bridge. Instead, Evo Snowball going to get played, getting the tower low, down in 1973. So a lot of chip damage. VIITOR dominating this game so far.
2 Valks on the board, Miner to the inside. And this could be a problem. Evo wall breakers. Arrows do come back, but there's goblins behind. Skelly King cleans up. Damage in, though. Pretty tight, about 200 HP separating these two. And we are in sudden death. Reminder, folks, if VIITOR wins, we reset and play another best of 5. If Viper wins, that is it. He goes to World Finals.
Going in with the bridge Evo Valk. Evo Valk to protect the wall breakers. Wall breakers take out the Goblin Hut. And this Miner in the back is getting a ton of damage. Clean defense from Viper. And so really gonna basically just tie it up. A good situation for Viper right there.
VIITOR just really having trouble with the multi-layered attack here with the Miner wall breakers. Right? We've seen he's had to kind of stop the wall breakers in funky ways. And here he goes, playing the Skeleton King to the back, doesn't pick up the Miner and has to arrows the wall breakers. So a lot of chaos all over. That Evo snowball pretty perfectly timed, arrows to clear, and the wall breakers on the Evo have to come out on defense. And VIITOR might opt to eat those.
Yeah, super massive play right there. Again, going in with the very aggressive arrows, getting the goblins, trying to get them on tower. 40 seconds left, and VIITOR just going all out right now.
Miner doing its work. And we are so tight. 627, 797. Poison cycle now from Viper. Last 30 seconds. Drill's going to go low. Skellies, are they going to hold the Valk? And they don't. Wallbreakers almost connect. 446. 466 on both sides.
Wow.
Tie game at the moment. Miner into the top right. The Hut doesn't catch. The Hut doesn't catch. Evo Snowball plus arrows.
Oh.
And that's it. VIITOR gets the win. We're going to a reset.
Wow, incredible offensive, like Goblin Giant as a deck number 1 kind of deck. I know, you know that your opponent, that's actually, I don't know. As long as you're placing it down, I'm always going to be a fan of that. I think Goblin Giant, Goblin Machine is just so strong. It's hard to know whether you should keep it or use it early. And right there, really clean defense. I thought Viper was going to lose 3 or 4 different ways, but instead, solid defense.
We'll give VIITOR about a half elixir advantage as the first minute ticks away. And both players taking a moment here to breathe, reset. And Viper goes ahead and gets an early rocket going. We've seen Viper run rocket with Miner, but this is an interesting configuration with this Miner drill rocket.
Yeah, I've seen this drill quick cycle deck be used, but with the vines instead of the rocket. I do like the addition of the rocket. That way you get to keep vines for a later day. But right here, vines would be pretty important in this matchup. This is going to be just so tough to defend over and over again.
And the Rage, does he get that wall, that bomber off? And he does. Machine going to tower, and that's going to be a lot of damage from the Goblin Machine.
Yeah, beautiful recovery to even just save his tower. Gets the tower down to 1938, and a really nice snowball. Pushing the Furnace to the opposite lane, doesn't want to have to deal with it. And misplaces, gets the wrong timing for the cannon, but going to be able to clean everything up with the Skellies.
And Rocket going to go ahead and try to support the bridge fight, but the Prince plus the minions raged up, and just so much elixir expended to still get some damage in and be down. So Viper feeling the heat as he is way behind in both lanes.
Yeah, the Furnace has proven to be so difficult to stop. I like the idea of getting the rocket on top of the tower and the Furnace, but, you know, even when you get that going for you, you're still losing 2 elixir. These defensive rockets putting in work, but, I mean, it's just Prince Bridge. You can't stop the Prince Bridge.
And the Rage doing so much right now as well. One Goblin gets away, 1 critical stab. Does waste a Chef boost on a dying Goblin. And again, thinking about usage here as we are now into these championship, super championship. Almost exclusively Viper using the Princess for her for the tower. A little bit of Royal Chef, whereas VIITOR has really mixed it up between the Princess, Cannoneer, and Chef. Go ahead.
Yeah, right there, misses the snowball. Left side going to be dangerous. Right side even more dangerous. Gets the tower down to 1203. Berserker putting in work, but that's another shot. Getting the tower down to 779, and Viper just, he hasn't gone on offense for 3.5 minutes. It feels like he's just never had any sort of opportunity. Rocket coming down, misses the bar barrel, and I just don't know what you're supposed to do if you're Viper.
Get ready for game 2. Yeah, so much on the board right now. Viper trying to hold on, but now Raged Up Prince connects in the left-hand lane. VIITOR just needs to not get horse to the barn syndrome here and recognize that he's got this thing all sewn up.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Viper has been able to push this into a 4-minute, 50-second game is tremendous. VIITOR going to take game number 1 after bringing himself to the bracket reset. Brilliant job to keep the momentum.
Last game, as you said, we saw some kind of suspect stuff going on, especially late game. So here we go, game number 2. And VIITOR's turn to go drill Snowball. Little different look from what we just saw from Viper. And as Viper sets up with the Valk in the back. Ice Wiz, I haven't seen a ton of Ice Wiz. I'm trying to think of how much Ice Wiz we've seen at all today. But certainly not much. And VIITOR playing with some pressure early. And Snowball will get a couple of stabs there. And that Fire Spirit might get a leap on tower, and it does. Huge Fire Spirit connection for VIITOR as we pass the first 90 seconds, and he has opened up a huge lead. This is where you start getting worried for Viper. This is where you start thinking, hey, you just lost a best of 5. Tight one at the end of game number of game 5. Then you just kind of got a big struggle situation in game number 1. And now here you are in game 2, having given up a big lead. Josh, you know, looking at this one, we haven't seen a ton of Ice Wiz in this competition.
Yeah, and Ice Wiz really, it should do well against the meta. The problem is, like, you know, in these best of 3s, there's just usually a better response, a better answer. Instead of the Ice Wiz, people are just swapping that for Furnace. And so when you have that opportunity for a card that's very similar and just kind of so much stronger, it does make sense why we haven't been seeing it. Right there, a rough giant snowball. I really expected a lot of damage right there, but the Valk just gets kind of pushed into the goblins.
VIITOR with work to do on both sides. Defends the Furnace on the left side with the Berserker right-hand side. A lot of splash to go to work here. Vines on offense, maybe trying to get some chip from the Valk. Berserker intercepts it just in time. And this right-hand tower just keeps on getting worked on.
Yeah, down to below 800 HP, almost below 700 HP, and VIITOR just not having a problem. It's oh my goodness, and I don't mean to overreact, but like these are massive things that Viper is just missing right now.
And maybe a little early on the vines on Graveyard too. And you got to think Viper appearing to be a little tilted.
Berserker going to put in work on top of the Valk. Evo Furnace placed at the bridge, doesn't want to give poison value. But right there, again, the Goblin's going to work. That's game over. He's going to be able to poison another shot from the Goblin.
Wow.
VIITOR clapping it up for himself, and he has every right to. And lower bracket, wins the
way Viper goes here, but I think a Lightning deck is most likely. And might be Hog here. Might be Hog in both directions. And Viper not responding to this Mighty Miner.
So I think Viper's probably using the RG Fireball, VIITOR probably using the Royal Hogs. I would have liked to see VIITOR activate King Tower. I was kind of surprised to see him block the E-Spirit with his own E-Spirit.
Pigs going to the left-hand side. A little damage on both towers now for VIITOR. Firecracker, as I guess part of the RG deck here. And Evo Firecracker as well. Interesting choice of card to put in the Evo slot.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what was used beforehand. Usually it was the Evo Wizard, so swapping it up. Well, usually it's the Evo Wizard and Evo RG, so now I'm starting to wonder if he's even running RG in general. And he is.
And he is. Here goes the slow. Firecracker gonna go and get a little chip damage here. And, you know, you think about the choice here for Firecracker, which I think this is also our first Firecracker of the day, maybe of the weekend. Haven't seen much in the way of Firecracker, but you think about the choice of Firecracker here, and you look at VIITOR already using Barb Barrel, already using Snowball. Doesn't have Poison out there, so thinking maybe Arrows is unlikely.
Yeah, I do understand the science behind that deck pick, and I really like it. I think this is a pretty big opportunity for it to put in work in this game.
Into double elixir now, RG in front of the Evo Witch. Evo Cannon trying to hold a little bit. Log plus Skelly's mostly focused on the RG right now, then worry about the Witch later.
Good timing with the E-Spirit and the Mighty Miner. Going to allow the Miner to lock onto the Witch instead of anything else.
And this is a big question, right? Does VIITOR have any real way to get at the Evo Firecracker when it's on the other side? Now the King Tower activation will come in. Not the most impactful of King Tower activations, but certainly still could be helpful here and there. But you got to wonder, like, is Viper going to be able to abuse this Firecracker on his side of the board? So far, the story seems to be yes.
So interesting that he's willing to cycle logs like that. He was super quick to figure that out as the method of choice, and right there, RG does get one shot. VIITOR shaking his head, didn't want to allow that.
.30 seconds away from triple elixir. An RG shot and some Firecracker damage. Chip has been the big stuff so far for Viper. Pigs go the opposite direction. Evo Witch going to work. Log to clear. Pigs will get some damage. The Mighty Miner should get onto the RG now with the work done by the Electro Spirit.
Firecracker just a centimeter away from locking onto the tower and getting some chip shots. Evo Baby Dragon to take out the Witch on the right side and going to get aggressive. So this RG should be stopped completely, and I believe so, especially with the help of the log.
Great damage from VIITOR here, who got a good read on the situation that there wasn't really any good way to take care of the skeletons that were doing DPS on that Royal Giant. Viper has 30 seconds to try to preserve his shot at World Finals.
Yeah, just shaking his head. It doesn't look like he has any option, any chance of getting it. I mean, just scratching his head right now. And this Baby Dragon, I mean, VIITOR's got this.
RG in, and Viper had no way to shut this down. VIITOR knows it. VIITOR knows it. So pumped up. And VIITOR returns to World Finals for the 5th time in his career. He will see you in Atlanta.
Congratulations to VIPER. I mean, bringing it, I mean, forcing the second set is so difficult. You know that you're going to have to win again. It's hard to get that through your head. He was able to do that, gets himself into the second set, and then 1, 2, 3. Nobody had gone 2-0 in any of these best of 5 sets. He said, well, I'm not going to stop at 2-0. I'm going to go 3. And he is now our champion. Unbelievable. He's going to be our champion going to the World Finals.
And it almost feels like what's a World Finals without VIPER in it? Yeah. After having him there so many times over and over again. And you see the excitement and the passion in that response the moment he knew he locked it up. And, you know, you talk about gutting out a performance here. VIPER on top of the podium with his friend and former teammate Wallace VIPER there in number 2. But, yeah, talking about just what it took to get him here. The loss to Wallace in round 2 after winning that first one, dropping down and fighting through that lower bracket. He faced Coco twice, faced Wallace twice, faced VIPER twice, and got a win over Clown for what has really been an impressive performance. 5-1 overall to get there. 14 games won, 17 games lost, and just an absolute show of veteran poise and skill to get this win and secure what clearly is a very meaningful trip to Worlds.
Yeah, he was getting some serious airtime on his celebration. I definitely should be proud of himself